Every year, me and my two best mates, Jamie and Dan, take a short break to often unusual places. Normally, it's a case of having a few too many beers, hopping on Skyscanner and finding the cheapest flights. These trips have taken us to some amazing destinations. This time we were taking a short trip to Helsinki for a couple of days and then catching the ferry across the Baltic Sea to Tallinn in Estonia. I packed a lot of camera gear for this one, which turned out to be way more than I needed, plus I looked like a turtle for most of the trip. I went with the intention of creating enough images to put together a mini-zine. I felt a bit unfulfilled with photography recently, my social media reach is down, and I've really slowed down with it all, to be honest. I'm consuming a lot more photography these days though through books and physical magazines, so I wanted to shoot with the intention of putting my own together. So we started in Helsinki and landed straight in the middle of a snowstorm during blue hour, so I couldn't get much done straight away. That evening we went to an ice hockey game, which was an unbelievable first time experience. We drew the short straw and had the sofa for our first night, which I later realised was a full sofa bed and I'd slept like a pencil for absolutely no reason. The other lads were out of it, so I decided to make use of the early morning light and get out on the streets. Literally, as soon as I stepped out the door I found the first spot to explore, a nicely lit crossing on a street corner with a few passers by. I was just warming up at this spot, but got a few nice shots I was happy with to start the day. Even though it looks nice and sunny, I was absolutely freezing and didn't have any gloves. I stopped at a few other similar corners until I stumbled upon this scene. I'm always drawn to old things, this time being the car outside a nice little wine bar. And I noticed a reflection in a cafe window, so waited for about a minute until someone walked in frame. So a successful start for me in Helsinki. From the morning outing I got maybe 10 images to kickstart the zine. Happy days. Eventually the boys woke up and we headed out for our first day trip. We headed to the port and stumbled across some markets where we found salmon soup, a local dish. So we had to get 3 of them to cure our hangovers.
No sugar.
The plan for today was to head to Suomenlinna, a sea fortress off the coast of Helsinki that dates back to the mid-18th century. We took a ferry over there to see what it was all about. to me it actually felt very American with these huge colourful houses. The palette was quite reminiscent of Wes Anderson as well, which was cool. We spent a couple of hours here trekking around and then hopped back on the ferry back to Helsinki. Day 3 in Helsinki was a wet one, and also our last, as we'd booked the ferry that afternoon to cross the Baltic Sea over to Estonia. I'd found us a tiny little cafe to visit north of the city centre, so we took a tram to check it out. This place was like a tiny boathouse on a reservoir and actually quite busy. I've got a few nice images here, especially the one coming up of a guy who'd just been swimming. As our time in Helsinki came to an end, we boarded the ferry to head to Tallinn for the second part of the trip. This was actually my first time on a ferry, and I'd gone with the idea of getting some pictures like those you see on Instagram. There seems to be a bit of a thing going on with film pictures taken on ferries, perhaps because of the way the windows diffuse the light and make it really pleasing to look at. As you can see though, that wasn't going to happen today. Grey skies meant that I had to get some different images to what I'd imagined, though I lent into the mood and I'm quite happy with these. After 2 very strong travel sickness tablets and winning €50 on a fruit machine, we arrived in Tallinn. It was immediately very different to Helsinki, colourful and historic. We spent some time exploring the old town. I loaded up the Mamiya 645 with some Ektachrome, which I'd had for a while now. It expired in 2022 and I've never shot slide film, so it was going to be a bit of an experiment anyway. After that we headed to a district called Helsinki, which is known as the Creative City. You could tell as well, there were bars and restaurants built into decommissioned train carriages, loads of art museums and galleries, and also the first place on the trip where I was able to buy some more film. I had a bit of a nightmare with the Mamiya after this too. I noticed that without the dark slide in, the film carrier was loose on the hook fitting at the bottom of the body, and it would open just a crack from time to time. I haven't had the film developed to check yet, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some unforgiving light leaks. And that wrapped up our short trip to Helsinki and Tallinn. Overall, I was pretty happy with the images I got, and I'm now going to look at sequencing them in a mini travel zine, so keep an eye out for that soon. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and if you've been to either of these places, please let me know in the comments how you found it.